So, I decided to ask my Instagram followers what 12 books I had to read throughout 2022. And today we're talking about them. Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So, like I said, I decided to ask my Instagram followers for 12 book recommendations. So 12 books that I just had to read throughout 2022. And there were a few ones that I had to skip past, but the picks were very random. I'm very surprised that I have most of these books. I think I'm missing 3, so there's only a couple of extra I have to get my hands on somehow. However, I'm pretty happy with what we ended up with because it's a nice little mix. But what we're doing today is we are gonna be talking about them, going through the synopses, the genres, everything. And if you've read any of them, please let me know what you thought about them in the comments. But enough talk. Let's talk more about the books. Anyway, okay, so let's just get started. So the first book that is on my list of the 12 books that I have to read this year is The Match by Sarah Adams. This is an adult contemporary romance. It's about a woman who has a service or a company where she matches service dogs with customers or clients. Let's call them clients. Yeah, she matches service dogs with clients. One day she has a single dad come in who needs a service dog for his daughter. And our lead girl finds herself very attracted to this guy instantly, but he is way out of her league and apparently they don't get along that well either. Until somehow he also kind of starts, like, he gets a little bit attracted to her as well, and there's a bit of a back and forth. I love myself a good adult contemporary romance when I'm just in the mood for something a little bit lighter, something less complicated when it comes to world building. So I'm excited to get into this one. Thank you to whoever recommended it, because otherwise I probably would not have known that this book existed. And I also believe that this is the first book in a companion novel series, because there's another one. The sequel is called The Enemy, but I don't think it's with the same characters. So, but I don't own this book. I will get my hands on it somehow. I'll find a way. Next book that we're talking about is Dune by Frank Herbert. This thick monstrosity was recommended to me, and now I have to read it. This is the deluxe edition, by the way, in case you're curious why it doesn't look that standard. And it's gorgeous. That's pretty much why I have this one, because it's a lot of sci-fi. It's adult sci-fi. I think it's a bit of a chosen one story as well, but in this book we follow our lead guy right here who is, oh gosh, do they have different titles? Is he a prince or is like a lordling? Something like that, but different title. On a planet, and his family has to move to a different planet where the sand holds this spice that's worth a lot of money. The spice has an ability to kind of change you in a way. I know, we're getting into weird territory. But after they've gotten to this planet, they are betrayed, and he actually finds himself kind of on a journey to these other people that live in the sands. He has to get by sandworms as well that are massive and scary as heck, and there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, this is supposedly like a sci-fi classic, so I feel like it's a must read as well. Thank you to whoever recommended this, even though I am very, very scared. Intimidated. That's the word I should use. Intimidated, because this is a lot. For someone who doesn't read a lot of sci-fi, this is a lot. So we'll see how it goes though. The next one is actually a book that I'm planning on reading this month, and it is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. In this book we follow our lead girl who has moved from a smaller village town situation to big Boston, where she is making a living for herself. She is also dating a neurosurgeon, or she's not fully dating him because he doesn't really want a relationship, so I'm guessing they have a different kind of deal going on. But he definitely has a soft spot for her. However, one day her old love and almost protector enters her life again. He's called Atlas. There's some history there, and our lead girl kind of has to confront her past and how is this neurosurgeon situation gonna end and all of that. So that's what this book is about. Adult contemporary romance. Colleen Hoover is a goddess, and I'm excited to read it. It's gonna happen this month, so at some point. So this one will be crossed off my list. And thank you to whoever recommended this. Yep. Next up is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a duology. It's new adult or adult fantasy, romance, a lot of enemies to lovers vibes in this one. We follow our lead girl, Laura, who is a princess. But she's not just a princess. She's a princess who is trained to be a spy. So she's sent off to marry the guy right here. I think his name is Aaron. Yep, Aaron. And he is from an enemy kingdom nearby. Something like that. His kingdom has a very powerful position in this world that the book takes place in, and her goal is to infiltrate their kingdom and basically take them down from the inside out. But when she gets there, she kind of starts to have second thoughts. So, yep. And there is a second one called The Traitor Queen. So I'm pretty sure I know in which direction this book is gonna go because it's called The Traitor Queen. But I am here for the ride, you know. We gotta get from A to B somehow, and I want to see what happens in between. So thank you to Kim for finally kicking me in the butt and telling me I have to read this year because I keep forgetting that I have them. They're kind of hidden in like the corner of my bookcase, so I just overlook them even though I'm super excited to read them. It's a very strange situation. But thank you. It'll happen sometime soon. Yeah. The next one is a book that I've actually no idea what it's about. I think it's a horror. It's called Wakenhyrst and it's by Michelle Paver. And I picked this out of the bunch because it was a different genre, but I don't know what it's about other than a manor in the 1960s and a family. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the synopsis. Like, how am I gonna summarize this? I have no idea. However, I want to say thank you to whoever recommended this because I honestly don't really have my eyes on a lot of horror books, and I'm excited to get into this one without actually really knowing what it's about. So we'll see when it happens. I want it to be darker outside, so it might not happen until the end of the year, but it's on my list, so it's gonna happen. And then the next one is one that I'm planning on reading next month, actually. It's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is about scientists, as you can probably tell with the coats. But we follow this girl right here, who is, I don't know if I want to call her cynical, but she's a bit grumpy. She doesn't really believe in long-lasting romantic relationships, but to kind of get her best friend off her back about it and try to convince her that she's on the right track to a happily ever after, she decides to basically kiss the first guy that she sees. Enter this guy right here, a young professor at the school that she goes to. Also, he's sunshine, she's grumpy. I love that. And to kind of continue to sell this image of her just being happy, they enter a deal, a fake dating deal, which I'm excited for. I don't know the rest. I don't know the rest of the synopses. I haven't really read the rest, if you will, but that's all I need to know. I'm sold. Everybody loves this. I love myself a good adult contemporary romance. So grumpy sunshine too and fake dating, like that's a good trope mix. Looking forward to it. The next one, oh my gosh, and this is a brick. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I don't know what this book is about, other than it has amazing world building, I've been told, and the back says the next generation of hit fantasy fiction, a feminist Lord of the Rings, and I'm sold. Also dragons, like dragons, but also 800 pages, so that's a thing. The funny thing is, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't even find the synopsis in the book, so I can only see blurbs. It says blending politics with hype, adventure, and the epic with the intimate. The narrative builds like a tidal wave before sweeping towards an awesome climactic finale. You know, there's a lot of good stuff on the outside of the book, and like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't picked it up yet to read. I have it, obviously it's in my hand, but I don't know the synopsis, so I can't summarize it. Looking forward to reading it though. This is gonna be, I feel, a good maybe April, late April, early May read. I don't know, something about the yellow vibes, so we'll see around that time. Maybe I'll pick it up then. Otherwise, I'm gonna figure it out because it's gonna happen in 2022. It's happening. Also, this is adult, high fantasy, dragons. I believe there's LGBT representation in there. I'm not sure how. I think it's female, I think. Other than that, don't really know. Did I say dragons? I mean, dragons should sell it, right? Next up, we have Strange the Dreamer, and I also own Muse of Nightmares, so if I like this one, I'll be going into it. This is young adult, fantasy, romance, and supposedly really beautiful. But I don't know what it's about, and it's one of those that I don't fully want to know either. All I know is there's something about books as well. Or not books, but one of them loves books. That's all I know. One of them is blue as well. That I know as well. But I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Please don't tell me. Do feel free to tell me me if you like the book, but just don't tell me anything about the plot, because it's just one of those I don't really want to know before I go into it. It's super strange. I just feel like that with some books. It was the same with The Night Circus. I just want to go blind into it. So no idea, but I'm looking forward to reading them. So thank you to whoever recommended these. Or just this one. I'm gonna read the second one as well though. Also, by Laini Taylor, I forgot to say. Sorry. The next book that was recommended to me is one that I don't own as a physical copy, but I have access to it through my iPad, and it is Spillbreaker by Charlie N. Holmberg. See, their last name looks so Danish that I'm like, how is it pronounced? I have no idea. I want to call him Holmberg. If it's wrong, then I suck. What's new? But this book is young adult fantasy, I think historical fiction as well, romance and magic. It takes place in a world where you can either pay your way to perform spells or you just naturally have the ability to break them. So our lead girl has her natural ability to break them. However, her gift is actually she's not permitted to have it, so she has to keep it a secret. She is hired by some people though to kind of work against these richer people, but while doing this, she is busted by someone. I believe it's someone she's actually working against at the time. So to kind of avoid her getting into trouble, she enters a deal with this man. She has to help him with some stuff and he will keep her secret for her. And that's all I know. So there's also a sequel, I think, and I'm probably gonna read both of them if I like the first one, which I am counting on. There's something about like magic, historical fiction that is a good combo to me. It kind of reminds me of The Infernal Devices and it just brings back good feelings. So yeah, don't know when I'm gonna read them, but maybe around September or so. It'll probably happen before then, probably. But yeah, Spellbreaker by Charlie N. Holmberg. And then we have one that I actually got for Christmas, so I am so happy that someone said I should read this because now I'm gonna read it sometime very soon, which I'm sure that my sister would be happy about because she gave it to me. So that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, and the amounts of good things I've heard about this book is actually insane. I don't know the synopsis exactly. What I do know is that we follow a guy who goes to an orphanage or something like that. Maybe not specifically an orphanage, but there's a lot of children at this home. All these children have special abilities, like superpowers, if you will, but superpowers that are so super that they could basically cause the end of the world. And that's all I know. That's all I want to know because it sounds awesome. I'm excited for it. And yes, when I went to the bookstore to buy Under the Whispering Door, which my mom gave to me for Christmas, the cashier was like, have you read The House in the Cerulean Sea by the same author? I loved it. You need to read it. So when I also got this for Christmas too, I was so happy because now I have both of them, you know? And they're so cute next to each other. Yeah, but I'm very, very excited to read this. It's gonna be a good time. Also, I believe this is adult fantasy, but also contemporary and magic, or not magic, but superpowers. There's romance in there, which I believe is man-man. Don't quote me on it, but I think it is. I could be wrong though. So we have two more books. The next one is Iron Widow by Shiranji Xiao, and I'm counting on reading this month. This is the Illuminated edition, by the way. Did not pick this because I already had it. Honestly, this was mentioned more than once. So I am definitely gonna pick this up this month. I think this is the fourth time I am summarizing this month, but that's fine. In this book, we follow our lead girl who is out for revenge because her sister died in this program that is going on in the world that she lives in, where they have these mechanical phoenixes that is piloted by a man and a woman, and for some reason they're built in a way that causes the woman to basically die after its flight. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to summarize, but we're trying here. So our lead girl is set on getting revenge for her sister's death, but after she enters the program and goes through her first flight, she actually survives and becomes an Iron Widow. And because of that, her perspective kind of changes a little bit. So now it's not just about getting revenge for her sister's death, but she wants to bring this whole program down. So I think this is kind of feminist. It's young adult fantasy, but with sci-fi elements to it. It is also romance. There's a polyamorous relationship in this, which I have never read anything with, so that is exciting. And I've heard so insanely many good things about this book, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna happen this month. It better. All I need is more time. just more time. The last book on the list is one that I did not realize had been released. See, I'm not just picking books because I already own them, because I didn't even know this book was a thing, just like Wakenhyrst. I did not know. Is that even how you pronounce that? Wakenhyrst? Anyway, it's A History of Wild Places by Shea Ernshaw. And this is adult fantasy, horror elements, magical realism, mystery, thriller, those kinds of vibes. And what the book is about, are you asking? I have no idea. None. It came out in December. Did not know that this book was a thing at all, so. But I'm okay with that. A mystery book, like an adult mystery book, and I don't know what it's about, I'm okay with that, you know? I feel like that works. So I'm gonna get my hands on it at some point, and I'm gonna read it probably later this year, around October, because if it has horror elements, you know, it sounds like an October read, or at least like a fall winter read. So, but as for the time schedule and like when I'm gonna read the books, it's never set. I might just randomly one day just choose to pick up Priory of the Orange Tree just because I feel like it. So it's never fully set. All I know is that I'm gonna read these 12 books at some point throughout the year. That's all. But thank you to everyone who left recommendations in my stories on Instagram that day. It was a lot of fun to go through all of them. I ended up with this bunch because I felt like it had a good mix of basically everything, but also most of the genres that I love. If I'm gonna get 12 books, it has to be stuff that I'm like, that I actually love to read. But I also wanted to mix something in there that, like both books that I didn't know, but also genres that I don't read on the regular. So like the mystery horror book, for example, and the other horror book as well. So I feel like we got a good mix going on, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who left recommendations. If you want to follow me on Instagram, by the way, you can find my account through my link tree, which is linked in the description. So if I ever do this again, or if I ask for other recommendations at some point, that's where you can answer me and come up with more recommendations, or just leave them in the comment section here. But if you've read any of these books and you liked them or you didn't like them, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And also if you're new here and you want to hang out with me and everyone in the comments and nerd out, talk about books, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. But that is all I got today. So yeah. 12 books, 12 months. Let's get through this. That sounded negative. I'm excited for this. It was not supposed to sound negative. It's awkward. I'm leaving now. I'm super excited to read all these books, so I'll get to it right now. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!